Okay.
How are we doing, everybody? We are live for the first time with Surviving Life on the Off the Grid Network. Myself and Beverly Rhodes. We have the wonderful John Wedger joining us. I will be honest, though, it's late, and for some reason, I've not heard from him in an hour, which is quite concerning. So he will get in touch with us, but there's plenty to go over tonight. There's plenty to be updating you all with. And next week, I will have all the artwork properly done because I completely screwed it up tonight. But Beverly, before we get any further, how are you? How's your week been? And
been a bit chaotic, which was quite interesting, trying to get book covers done, which is also always lots of fun. Yes, it's on, I think, iteration number 4, possibly. But trying to get what I saw in my head out and onto the page is not the easiest thing, especially when you see something, they see something else. It's been fun and games, but it's looking good now, which is nice. So it'll be hopefully we'll make the deadline on time.
You just need to. It'll just be a case if you're not happy with it, tough whap. Well, look, for those of you who are from the Off the Grid Network and perhaps don't know,
it's looking nice.
I'll be introducing myself a little later on, but we are Surviving Life, the Surviving Life podcast. Myself, Beverly, and the wonderful Big Homie, and we will be here on a Friday night. There's a lot to go over. If you're new to Surviving Life, the podcast, there's a lot for you to sort of get caught up on. There's a lot for you to take in, and I swear half of you wouldn't believe what we were saying if it wasn't for Big Homie, because he ain't going to put his neck on the line for some shenanigans. You know what I'm saying? So I just want to say a big hello to all of you. Project Rook is myself and, of course, the wonderful Beverly Rhodes. But Beverly, let's just pretend no one's heard of us before. Let's just go back to basics, do the intros and all the rest of it. I just want to make everyone aware that I am a little bit concerned that I haven't heard from John Wedger. Okay. The last time this happened,
and also from Big Homie, because he's on that current he's on a current stakeout. Big Homie, there is a live situation going on where a very big live situation where he has a murderer caught in a particular building, and at the same time there are a number of children that are locked in the building at the same time. So it's a very, very delicate situation. I think that's obviously under Big Homie's control, but it's one of those that it's fluid. We don't really know what time things are going to finish, or whether Big Homie will be able to come onto the show and discuss what's happening. But that's literally, I'm watching my phone and watching all of the updates to see. And as far as the remote viewing going,
for Big Homie not turning up for his own channel and his own podcast, we're not making excuses for him. Okay, this is reality, but it's a real deal. It's a real deal, Bev, and that's just the facts, right?
So the most important thing is to give the updates on the remote viewing side of things. So for those of you that are not aware of what remote viewing is or how it works, it is the ability to be able to utilize extrasensory perception to go and tune in to specific areas where there's either a person that is missing, or a child that is missing, or a situation that is happening. Look at the surroundings and provide information about those surroundings to the operatives or to the boots on the ground, so that it makes it very safe for them and gives them the necessary intelligence that they need in order to keep safe, but most importantly, to have a really successful extraction. And when we mean extraction, I mean extract the potential victims, but also extract any bystanders or innocent people that might be around. Extract everybody successfully from whatever is going down. And the job of a remote viewer, and it is actually a job because there are posts and roles now available in both the FBI and the CIA, and they pay extremely well. They pay something like $79,000 up to, I think the top one I've seen is about $98,000, which is quite a lot. And that is for fully fledged, well experienced remote viewers. And what they do is they do exactly the same as what I would be doing on any case, is have a look at the situation, explain if there's any firepower, explain what's happening on the ground, explain what has been seen, have a look at what the situation is with any victims or any children that might be in the area. And that's all part of what a remote viewer does. So with working with Big Homie particularly, the last case that we were working on, I'm very, very pleased to say that it was successfully concluded with an extraction, which was the young boy who's 3 years old. And his name, we called him Benji when we were working on him, but his real name is Shamesh Benjamin Wright. And he had been missing for some time, but he was only about 30 pounds, and he is 3 years old. And he disappeared with his mother, which is the person you can actually see in the poster there, which is the official missing poster from the agency that was covering his abduction. And unfortunately for the little 3-year-old, he was a victim of SA with full knowledge of his mother. His mother was fully aware of what was happening to her 3-year-old son. And we were called into the case to find him and to help Big Homie in providing some of the clues. And also we were asked to do what they call proof of life. And POL is ensuring that we are able to track the energy of the heart chakra and the energy, the toroidal field, the big energy around the person, to make sure that the child was still walking around and was playing and was absolutely alive. That was part of the issue with this case, is because he was with his mum at the time, they were able to literally hide in plain sight. So we had about 6 weeks that we were working on the case. I have a team of about 25 or 30 remote viewers, and we meet every Friday. And then some of the remote viewers continue to work during the week in picking up energy signatures and information, images. You get also with this, you get touching, smells, feels, energy. You get to hear unusual things as well. And all of that then gets loaded onto the Excel spreadsheet. And that then has all of the information around this particular case. So from that point of view, we've got all of the information about Shamesh and fed all of that into Big Homie and his team. And he was then able to effect an extraction because it led to the place where the young lad was being kept. And he was successfully removed. And then, wonderful, fantastic blessing, the young boy was returned to his father on Good Friday. So the case that you're seeing on the screen right now is actually officially closed, because the child has been found and has been returned to a family member, namely his father. And that is what we do with remote viewing. We assist the crew that are on the ground and the crew that are going in, and they get the dangerous work. They get to go and extract children and find sometimes some really awful people that do these terrible things. And they make sure that the children get home safely. So I think that was really one of the best Good Friday Easter presents that both the child and the father could experience. So it had a really good ending, really, really good ending. So as a 3-year-old, he's got plenty of time now to, go and see child psychologists and people to help him, bless him, get over what's happened to him. And I'm sure there'll be other aspects as well that'll happen in his life where they'll help him to recover from his trauma.
Now, just in case you're watching this back, maybe you're watching this a week after it's gone live, just to make sure you understand what we're saying. We're talking about a missing boy that was located through remote viewing, i.e. people with incredible gifts. And this is no joke. This is the real deal. And Beverli, this ain't the first time, right? I mean, we're like 0 for 5 now, are we? 0 for 4, 0 for 5?
I think we are on 5, but
5.
maybe 4. No, because of the remember the one where the little baby was removed, but we haven't had the DNA. The DNA has not come back yet, whether that is the child or not. We assume it's the child because it meets and matches all of the information. But the DNA, I don't think she's done a DNA yet to say whether she definitely is the missing child. So that's just that one. So let's say it's 4, and then 4. There could be 5, pending whether the DNA comes back that it is actually the missing child.
Okay. Ron's got some very interesting ideas for tally marks and some celebration merch ideas for when we conclude cases like this, because obviously, and you're going to hear more about this now, ladies and gentlemen, as we do the shows over here, but we will be showing you guys how you can support this movement, support this entire podcast, help us fund all of these things. We do have a Discord community. We do have a movement and a symbol that represents us uniting against child abuse and all of these horrors. I'll be going into a little bit more with that with you guys later. Still not heard from John Wedger. A little bit concerned. So if you wake up tomorrow and there's a completely different thumbnail and a completely different title on this, don't worry, because Ron's got a backup plan. Now, it's no joke. And it's easy to sort of sit there at home looking at us on a screen. You know, you've got a long-haired Scottish dude and this mystical-looking lady who's talking about finding people with, you know, a remote viewing group. You got to remember, Big Homie and I done an interview with Beverli a few weeks ago. I'm going to collate all of our content that's on my channel and backed up into a playlist. I will have that ready. Where Big Homie goes into how serious this is. He talks very sincerely about, if you think I would put my name to this if it was nonsense. He gives you the very much the stern Big Homie talk, right? And you know, he could give you a PowerPoint presentation on this at this point, just so you know, he is fully invested. And when you have somebody turn around to you, and I do believe I'm doing a direct quote here, and they turn around and they say, Beverli achieves what we would have achieved in 12 months in about 3 weeks. And that's quite a substantial shaving of time, people. Like, it's an incredible team and an incredible movement that we've got here. And of course, Beverli and her wonderful remote viewers at the center of these extractions. Big Homie is our door breacher and our boots on ground. I'm the dark web, the tech, and the organized PDF rings, criminality, cartel, online and offline. I'll be going into some of the cases I've done previously a little later on for you guys, and also taking you through the updates on one of the cases that I'm involved in. And we'll be going into the movement too. I'm just hesitant to start in case John messages me. So I'm probably going to let it go till about 11:30 and then assume and hope that everything's okay with John and that he'll touch base with me in the morning. He is very similar to Big Homie with regards to the work that he does. So,
well, it's the moons at the moment, so there's a lot happening. And as you know, I've worked with John Wedger for 3 years now.
Yeah.
Well, actually, nearly 4 years now. And there is a large situation that normally happens from Friday right through until Monday. I think the worst day is usually, for this type of cycle, it's usually going to be the Sunday. So you never know, he might be called out, because he also works on many, many cases. And he has some very difficult cases as well, all over the country. So from that point of view, you never know what's going to happen, because both peoples are people on the ground. They're the ones that get the job done.
Yeah. And they're kind of no nonsense men, I'll be honest. So yeah, hopefully everything's good, and he gets back to me, and it's just the best case scenario. He's passed out on his couch, nice and relaxed, chilling out in the safety of his own home, and he'll wake up mortified, right? Do you know what I'm saying? Somebody was just that took me a minute to read. Is your watch right? Last night it was an hour too late. Oh, sorry, Bev, I took your thing off. I'm so bad at I keep forgetting that Bev and I we share pushing the buttons. And,
no, that's all right. Is the watch? Is the watch one? Oh, wait, was it a late button? But we've got our summertime times now, haven't we? Yes, I see. There's another question. Do the planets and the moons really impact our lives? Yes, they do. But more so at this time of this movement that's happening, where we're moving towards the new Earth, and we're moving towards the changes. Because when you start looking at the energies, and I'm sure everybody here, particularly all of you in the chat, you would have felt that these are very difficult times. People seem to be kind of grouchy, and they seem to be quite quick to explode, or quite quick to become, scratchy and angry and things like that. Plus, also, a lot of people are very tired. They're frazzled. They're very frustrated, and they can't sleep properly. So all these changes with the energies, it does have effect on our organic body. And as we're going into a totally new cycle now, which starts very soon after the weekend. In fact, energetically, it starts over the weekend. But from the 1st of May, we've got a full month of karmic cycle changes. So if there was something, for instance, that you felt that you needed to clear and that you needed to sort out, then the time to do it. May is definitely the time to do it. And it's a time where you can do it very positively. If you're lucky enough to have a birthday in May, well, happy birthday, and make lots of decisions in May for yourself with your birthday, because it's a positive cycle for you to be able to make those decisions, because it is an unbelievably good karmic release month. So it does affect everyone.
It's my little girl Runa's birthday's on the 15th of May. So
that's a good day. 506. That's a good balance.
Good. I mean, I'm useless with the numbers. I'm like, feel free to get your questions in, guys. I'm just wanting to make sure we get all of the Bev stuff and all the Bev questions in as soon as possible, because I've kept her up. Like, I'm so sorry, man. Like, it's just we're all getting used to this new system, and she's just like, I just want to relax, man. I'm sorry. We've got to do it, babe. I'm so sorry.
And of course, Homie's on a job. He's on a job. Still me. I'm sure you're one of the ones that was working in the remote viewing group. I'm sure it's you. Had a total crying attack 2 weeks ago, and tonight still not feeling right. Any advice? Yeah, I think part of that issue is grounding, but also I think that with this energy, the way that it is with the new moon and the new cycle, the new lunar cycle, actually this weekend, you will have a lot of these crying attacks. So if your weather's good where you are, if you can go outside and put your feet flat on the ground and allow that earth energy to move through you, or even just go for a walk in the woods, or walk in the forest, or walk on the beach, wherever you can, where you can get your shoes and socks off, or just get your feet onto the earth. I think that will help. The crying attack also, because you've had the crying attack, you need to look at what is the baseline? What is the reason for you being so upset? You said it was 2 weeks ago and tonight. I know you said you're still not feeling right. What is the root cause for you crying like this? Remember, we're coming up to a cycle where those energies will change, and you need to release it. So it's good that you're releasing it, because, crying is release, which is good. And then you've got the 3 C's. So you've got clear, cleanse, and close. So part of that move and change with yourself is you're clearing it because you're crying. You're cleansing it is you're removing all of that excess energy or that emotion or whatever that is out of your system. But then you're coming to close. You need to close that energy so that you can close it completely and send it up into the next dimension and allow it to go where it needs to go. But I think before you close, try to find out what is it that you are crying about, so that you can at least understand why you've had all of these tears over the last couple of weeks.
Do you find sometimes, Bev, right? If you're just, if you're just, for example, someone's sitting watching TV, they feel fine. And then, an Andrex advert comes on and the little Andrex puppy comes running along with the toilet roll. And then you start bawling your eyes out for no reason. Okay. Is that like a warning sign? Because if you feel okay and it happens, is that your body just telling you, hey, there's something you need to address? Or is that like a gasket blowing and letting out some steam? Or is it just one of those little things that happens? Is there anything more to those sort of moments?
It can be. It can be that it could be that there is some deep-seated either trauma or deep-seated emotional aspects that need to be addressed that haven't been addressed for years and years and years. I also do know some of my clients, when they start going through that, sometimes it's around about the time where they've had a loss. So either it's a loss of a parent or it's a loss of a child. It can even be a loss of a lovely furry dog or a cat or something like that. It's automatic regulation from your toroidal field. So your energy at some point would need to let that energy out. And what will happen is it just requires something to spark it. So as you said, you've got the toilet roll advert with the puppies running around. That would be a way to spark it and to allow it out. But if we don't allow it out, then we do tend to end up having people that hold everything inside themselves. They do cause themselves a lot of problems. So it is a lot easier to allow it to come out. We know factually that people that don't allow these emotional releases end up with all sorts of interior issues, can't breathe properly or tummy problems or ulcers. Not that we're doctors, but we have read in sort of medical papers that does cause, holding these emotions in for a very long period of time can make you sick.
So here's an interesting one, right? When we talk about people bottling up emotions and we talk about moments where we can't control our emotions like that, and we still live in a world where there's this huge stigma on men crying, asking for help, mental health, all of this. And, you could almost imagine some situations where this creeps up on someone and they really don't know how to deal with it. When it happens to me, I just embrace it. Do you know what I'm saying? I just embrace it. That's happened a couple of times. I'm not even remotely in any way, shape, or form referring to myself as emotionally stable. So I can imagine why that would happen. But I imagine for some people, it's a lot to deal with. And, you hear stories of people who've perhaps come back from a war or they've got some sort of obvious trauma to deal with, and they'll break down over a noise or a smell or something that reactivates that trauma. And it can be a lot to deal with. So what would be your advice for the men out there who maybe have a little much going on, but don't quite know how to reach out to people? What would be your advice for them?
Well, the most important thing is to be able to let this deep-seated emotions, let it out. And if it is something that as a man you're uncomfortable allowing those emotions to come out in front of others, which it seems to be quite common, then I would say allow yourself some private time, either to go into the bathroom or go out onto the beach or spend some time hiking, so that you can allow yourself to free the emotions. Because keeping them bottled up inside, especially if they're deep-seated emotions or very difficult emotions, that can really cause all sorts of havoc. It can cause things like high blood pressure, and it can cause internally, it can really make your organs have to stress out. So that level of emotion, and this is where, if you speak to any of your mental health practitioners, they will say it's best to allow those emotions to come out rather than try to bottle them up. Bottling them is not good for the human condition at all. And we are organic bodies. So, we've got water that runs through our body, and water carries emotion too. And we have a lot of water, with 73% water or something. So that is also carrying emotion. And this is one aspect, particularly coming from a male person. A male person's energetics is contagious. So you will find that if somebody, a man, is really upset, even if he puts on a happy face, that energy that comes out, and we must realize that the heart area, the heart energy and chakra goes out for up to 4 to 5 miles. It's not just a couple of feet, it's miles. And that energy, when we walk into that energy, this is why some people go, oh, and the person might look absolutely fine, but the vibration is saying there's a big problem brewing inside, and that is contagious, and it can be, you can catch it very easily.
Yeah.
And women will say, oh, I don't know why I'm so upset today. What's the reason? Well, because the man next to you is really upset. He's holding everything in, and he's close to just bursting everything out. But externally, his face and everything is showing that that's not the case. And that is catchy.
Now, you mentioned two things, and I want to just touch on both of them. The first one is, do you think that people, especially in 2025, do you think people really understand the full damage of stress? Because we all talk about it and we all just kind of write it off. But I mean, it ravishes your blood cells. It does all kinds of madness. And in all honesty, a lot of people don't take it that seriously. They're just, it's part of life, right? Oh, it's just stresses of life. But it can be very dangerous. And the other thing you touched on, Beverly, was that we are mainly made out of water. And there was an experiment done many moons ago. And the the professor had taken water out of a river in Japan and distilled some of it and put it into individual bottles, and then just wrote words on a piece of paper and stuck it onto the bottle and left them on a shelf. And then using what's called a black lens microscope, he looked at the structure of what makes that water up, science stuff, and you can see the difference in just the words that are on these water bottles. Compassion, thank you, wisdom, heavy metal music, I will end you, you fool, water before and after a Buddhist prayer, that's up here and below. Now, I'm not being funny, right? You don't have to be an expert or know what science is. But if a word can make something go from pretty snowflake to mad looking yellow thing, because Beverly, there is no similarities here. If you look at the bottom row compared to the top row, this is snowflakes and some sort of heated sugar in a pan, you know? And when we then imagine our surroundings, thanking you, Sky Spirit, thanking you for doing my job for me. Emoto Mazuri, that was the gentleman who done the experiment. And now we just imagine the television, the movies, the people that you're surrounded with, how you think about yourself in your own head, how the people around you communicate, and then look at all of the most successful business people in the world when they tell you you surround yourself with successful people. Okay? Success breeds success. Well, maybe there's something to that. Maybe there's something to the hippie mindset of love everyone. Because when you look at the results from science, okay, not people on the internet, you can do your own research. This is very telling, because fear and the way that the news projects things onto us and how they give a falsification of even crime statistics. You can have states in the US where violent crime is down 70%, but news coverage of it is up 1,500%. It creates a false sense of fear that doesn't need to be instilled in people. And this can be the results of that. And this always fascinates me, because we are water too, Bev. And in fact, we're shockingly a large quantity of water. Like, let's be honest. Like, if I stuck me in a dehydrator, that water collector is going to be pretty damn full. And that it's a scary sort of think that this is what is happening inside of us. And yeah, it's one of those ones. Now,
we've got a question here. Just let me show quickly. Leia is saying, is this Bev's channel? No, it's Big Homie's channel.
Bev's channel is linked in the description.
Off the Grid Network.
Bev's channel is linked in the description below. We will be on Bev's channel too when Bev figures out where she needs to put a code in somewhere. All right. Okay, we're now on about almost week 2, but at least a week and a half of Bev trying to figure this out. She's nailed most of it, but we just need to get this last little bit set up for her so we can get her attached to the software and she can do her stuff.
We've got Mrs. Mack's birthday today, folks. I'm going to wish Mrs. Mack a happy birthday, and I'm sure Mr. Mack will look after you, because I know Mr. Mack. He's absolutely lovely. I've spoken to him, so have a lovely time, the two of you together.
Yeah, absolutely. Big shout out to Mac and the rest of the mod teams, and of course Mrs. Mac. Now, Bev, before I start ranting and rambling, is there any other updates that you want to put over? Is there any other questions you guys want to throw over to Bev before Ron goes off on one for the next?
I'm going to quickly let me check and see if the man himself has got hold of me after the whole issue earlier.
You chase up Big Homie, I'll chase up John Wedger, and we'll pretend like this is just normal, right?
No, it looks like there's a standoff there by the sounds of it, because I was just telling him a few things while he was there. Looks like he's still there, and looks like the perpetrator's still there too, because he's not come back to me on any of the other bits that I've added, because I gave him some other insights on stuff. Yeah, he was. I don't think we're allowed to share his mugshot. Are we? No.
Yeah, there's not. I mean, all people need to know is he's on a stakeout. And
no, he's no, not a very nice person, that's for sure.
Yeah,
fully demonized. So that's perfect. No, it's nothing else other than that Fridays are still the remote viewing, which is a closed remote viewing users group on Friday evening, which is UK time, GMT. It is 8 o'clock until 9 or 9:30, depending on which case we're working on, and whether if we're in the flow and we're getting a lot of information, then it goes on a bit longer, but it's still now every Friday. And it's one of those closed user groups. If you want to look at coming and learning about and starting off with remote viewing and enjoy yourself, even if it's just a little bit of ESP and trying it out, then we'll be running separate groups for that at a later stage. But yep, Fridays are still happening. Yeah, it's going to be lots of fun. And that's it. We haven't got, we do have a new case. I think we do have the new case. The new case was given to us today, and it's this little boy here. There's an Amber Alert that came through for him, and it's in Florida, and he is from Miami Gardens in Florida, and he's male. He's only little. He's 4 foot, and he's not that heavy, and he's 9 years old, and he went missing on the 22nd of the 4th. This is his little face, and absolutely cute little thing. Look at that little face. Lots of big smiles, lots of light with that child. So he should be reasonably easy to find. Last seen wearing a light blue school uniform shirt, blue pants and black shoes. And he may be traveling in a black Honda Civic, and there is a particular plate number, and I think they were traveling northwards, but he has not been seen since that date, 22nd of the 4th, which is April, 22nd of April. So it's early days. We do like to get our cases as early as possible, and this one is a really early one, which is good. His name is Liam Smith. So, and he's 9 years old. He's quite small for his age, but he's 9 years old. Very bright little lad.
Well, knowing Beverly and our team and Big Homie, it won't be long before we have some success, hopefully, on that for everyone. And we'll update it each week as we go forward.
And now, Suzanne is asking what's the update on Benji. So just very quickly, because I noticed you've just arrived. Benji was found alive, well, and he was reunited with his dad last Friday, on Good Friday. So it was a fantastic Easter present. So that's the latest update.
Absolutely. I mean, it's the best result you can have, 100%. And yeah, that's just, like I say, it's another one under the belt. And you know, Liam, hopefully it won't be long until we've got a successful report back on that too.
We need the police report, and we need all the other reports, because all we've got is the Amber Alert, which is pretty much what we get first. So hopefully we'll be able to get the police report and all of the other photos, and any other court documents or anything that pertains to the case, and then I can get that to everybody this week, and we can start working on it pretty much straight away. We'll get it out probably this weekend, and everybody can start having a look and see. I think with the first thing, as usual, that we always do in every case, no matter where it is in the world, is we always do proof of life. And proof of life is to check to make sure that that person is still within 3D. In other words, they're still walking around on this earth, this current earth plane. And then we go from there. Because then it's either, if it's proof of life, then it's just an extraction and a rescue. But if it's the other side of the coin, then it's a slightly different process. And then it's just a location, being able to find the location. But this one, in this case, I think, yep, we're good to go. And I think it's a youngster that's definitely absolutely fine. 22nd, so 22nd, 23rd, 24th, 3 days so far. So we're within that period. We stand a good chance. The quicker, the better.
Yeah, 100%. And that's the thing. When the cases come in early, it really is essential.
Makes a difference.
It really does. Target number for Liam. Do we have a target number?
Target number for Liam. Yeah, the target number. Just wait to drop. Let me go and get it. It's fine.
Just so you know, mods, I've pinned the Discord link to the top of the chat. So it will be there for anyone who wants to come and join the server. We'll be hanging out on there after the show, and any of the regular mods who haven't been modded, I will get you modded at some point. Actually, I should be able to do that now that I think about it.
Right, Liam Smith, target number is 917821. There we go.
Hang on.
Liam Smith.
917821.
917821. Yeah.
No problem. No problem.
That's Liam Smith. So he's literally only been gone a couple of days to 22nd. Yeah, disappeared. But it doesn't actually say where exactly he disappeared, but that's fine. We'll see what we can get from the Amber Alert. Ideally, if we can have a copy of the Amber Alert, that would be even better. All the details, not just what's on the main docket.
Yeah,
I think there's a docket that goes with it. Yeah, target number 917821.
And we've got a Discord server as well for anyone who wants to be part of the community. We've got a little section there for people that are, you know, maybe they've not got the confidence yet to, you know, join the remote viewing, but want to, you know, dip their toe. And we've had some pretty interesting and successful results for Benji's case. There was some repeating things that your team were seeing, Bev, and it's quite exciting, and everyone's having a good time. So make sure you come and join us. An essential question here. Okay, Bev, I think we're all wanting to know, what is your hair care routine? Do you know what I'm saying? From the one, Susie.
That's typical of Susie.
Too funny.
Oh, Susie, you make me laugh. That's really good. Yeah, hair care routine, that's really good. Is coconut oil. That's the most important thing, because when you get older, your hair gets very brittle.
Asks tears of her enemies. Don't listen to her. It's the tears of our enemies. Okay, that's what it is.
Let's have a look and see if there's anything else.
Yeah, any more questions for Bill? Get them over, guys.
Yeah, this one here is a quick one. I was looking to purchase a home in the month of May or the beginning of June. Should I wait? No, May is a good time, because karmically, if you're meant to move in order to shift your energy, then May is a good time to do it. If you are moving because you want to change the path and where you're going and how you're going, May is the right time, because May is a karmic month. It's moving forward.
Awesome. Okay, and like I say, if you've got any more questions directly for Bev, let us know, and I'll save her from my rant that's coming up.
I for Jen, when grounding, can you put your hand on the earth rather than your feet? Yes, rational feet of being bare outside. Yeah. Yes, you can, because you've got your energy points here in the middle of your hands. You have those, so you can put them. And I mean, even better if you're able to lie down on the ground. But I think if you have an issue with your feet being on the earth, you might not want to be on the ground as well. But grounding, if you can do either of those, is absolutely fine.
Yeah, I'm very much like lie face down in the garden. Do you know what I'm saying? Just taking massive deep inhales, because it is incredible the difference when you get out of your little concrete box and you get out into even if it is just your garden. Do you know what I mean? It's good to reconnect with nature.
Good. There we go. I love a good primal scream. Yes, Rocky Mountain or Skywatcher. Yes, go and scream at the top of your lungs at the top of a mountain.
Make sure there's no one around, okay? Because you could ruin some family's holiday if 30 meters into the woods, little Jimmy and his family are on their first camping trip, and you become the first encounter of the legend of the screaming banshee. Okay, so yeah, make sure you're very isolated. I'm just saying. So
well, I'm off. I've got my last stuff that's come through now. You might have heard it in the background. It's busy loading, which is good. So we've got the rest of the case on its way. And I will see everybody again. And if Homie manages, I haven't heard anything else back from Homie. If he comes back, I'm sure he will let me know.
Yeah, exactly.
I haven't got anything yet.
The show's not over, people. I was just making sure Bev got a chance to do all her stuff first.
Update.
Yeah, 100%.
Have a nice time, what's left of it. Have a lovely weekend, everybody. And happy birthday to those in the chat. And I will see everybody soon. And hopefully, well, I'm sure Homie will be fine, because it's not a difficult extraction today. As long as those 6 children get out safe, that's the most important thing.
Awesome. All right,
good night,
Bev.
Everyone.
Thanks for being here, Bev. We'll
Thanks,
speak to you next time.
Night.
All right. So, thank you, Bev. And the next part of the show, I really want to introduce myself formally to Big Homie's channel, the Off the Grid Network. Just give me 1 second. I just want to read something. All right. So, if you're watching this back, if you're not part of the regular Ron community, I just wanted to give a brief introduction to myself, the history, why I'm here, how me and Big Homie connected, all of that stuff, and really let you know that we are a very interesting team here at Surviving Life, and we all have our intricate skill sets. And I'm just bringing up my website here. So, projectrook.com. If you go to the website, you will see the Join the Movement button. You scroll down, you'll find my documentary. Pretty horrific watch. And you can find all of the content, all the productions, all these things that I'm involved with. But mainly, it is about the movement. It's about this podcast. It's about unifying individuals around the world who have the same mindset as us. They are a little bit free thinking. They are a little bit awakened. And by God damn it, do they stand against the inhumane atrocities that seem to be flourishing around this planet when it comes to our children. Now, just give me 1 second, Ron. Just needs to turn up the gas here a little bit. 1 second, please. Woo. Happy birthday, Mrs. Mac. Right. Okay. So, I'm Ron Swanson. I used to have a YouTube channel called Surviving Life. and I exposed a multitude of horrible individuals. And if you go to the website, like I say, go Surviving Life Productions, you'll see all of the nasty individuals I exposed, the team and I exposed, the companies. We called out Snapchat. We've had social media apps that were geared towards 6-year-olds have to rebuild their entire business model, rebrand and restructure. We have infiltrated horrible individuals, completely take over their whole life. And when the police refuse to do anything about it, we damn well leave their life in tatters and make sure the internet knows there is no place for these individuals. We have had some arrests. We've had some sentencings. We've had 100% success rate. We were never a group that would take hearsay. We would never accept just because, even if you came with a whole bunch of your own evidence, we would still have to do our own investigation. And we would have to know for sure. If you're going after someone and you get it wrong, there's no coming back from that. So we were ruthless, and we've never ever fully stopped what we're doing. Now you'll see these PDF hunters, predator hunters that go out in person. They make content from it. I cannot do that. Okay. It would not work out well for me or the predator in that situation. So Ron likes to stick to, also as well, this is just basic maths for me, right? If you go after one PDF file, and let's say it takes you 10 weeks to build your case, and you go after a organized crime group, a cartel, a gang, and it takes the same length of time, but you take out more of them, that was always my mindset. And it was the same with taking down online websites. When you have websites that are distributing the horrific content, you're never really going to remove that. It's digital content. So anytime I came across a site like that, it would be reported. I would like to prefix this with the fact that I had a browser called Tor for accessing the dark web that I programmed so that at no point would I see images, thumbnails, nothing. It blocked all of the script for loading those things. So never exposed myself to any of this horrible stuff in all the time I've done it. Now, where was I going with this? Oh yeah, reporting the sites. So when you go after PDFs and you can't, there's no images to go by, there's no videos. When you go after the communities, the clubhouses, right? There's a lot of conversation, so you know what's going on. These are the places I targeted. If you burn down a clubhouse, they can rebuild, but will they rebuild as strong as the last time? Probably not. And if you just keep burning them down, okay? So that was my theory. Thousands of websites have been removed through our work. We worked mainly removing these fake child modeling agencies that always linked back to organized crime groups, whether it was the Ukraine or Venezuela. Here's one of the cases right now. This is Brimmer Models, 60 children, and they all got jailed. The Brimmer Models people. And I've went after Snapchat. They've had to make a formal apology for when we went after them, made national press, had multiple, global news outlets cover this. And I just don't get it. I just don't get it. I don't get how the world has this really unique way of not giving a or not caring. Okay. And when I say not caring, I mean, sure, we all understand that children need protecting and there's dangers and there's horrible people, right? But when you cannot understand the true length of the horrors that go on, and you say to yourself, oh, I can't watch this, I can't listen to this story, you are turning your back on the truth. And you absolutely, it's an ordeal understanding the full length of the predatory mindset that is running wild. And I'm not talking, we're not talking elites here, people. We're not talking about the cabal. We're not talking about the diddler. We're talking about the postman. Okay. We're talking about the lady that works in the shop down the road. We're talking about the teachers, the nursery school workers, the fairground workers. One moment, please. Oh, that's spicy. Okay, sorry. Yeah, the avatar. That's Ron Swanson. That's Ron Swanson in Funko Pop. So, trust me when I say, I just wanted to make camping videos. That's why I came to YouTube. I just wanted to make camping videos, and I've accidentally become an expert in the subcategories of PDF files. Okay. So you lucky people get to go PDF files. And that's where it ends for you. My brain goes, what kind are we talking about? Okay. Now, in my documentary, Hope Dies Here, on the website, if you want to go and watch it, you can watch it. There is an interview with a man who was part of an organization in the UK called PI, the PDF File Information Exchange, I believe it was called. And at one point, they were petitioning to have the age of consent lowered in the UK to 4, then to 6. And a shocking amount of the parliamentary leaders in the UK that were connected with the Savile scandal backed this group to the hilts. And these individuals from PI, they believe that children should be allowed to consent. If there's no trauma, if there's no forcing or anything horrible, they don't understand what the problem is. So they are referred to as the child lover PDF file. Okay. Then you've got the family PDF file. A man or a woman. I have literally seen dating ads on the dark web. Woman seeks man to create PDF babies to share with our community. Sorry, what? So you have this family dynamic PDF file. And sadly, that family dynamic PDF file can then be split into every other subcategory of PDF file, child lover, right the way through to hurtcore. And the internet, us being awakened, us turning our backs on, normal media, they didn't expect that. They didn't expect us to take control of this. Also, if you're watching this back, I'm very aware of the massive spot that's here. Okay. There was no spot, but a very sore little thing on my mustache for a couple of days. And last night I just went to town on it. I was like, ah. And man, did I make it mad. So yeah. Now it goes on. The list goes on. You've got individuals that like to torture and hurt. You've got individuals that like to torture and hurt, but in a way that no one can find out about, and sadly, our non-verbal autistic children are preyed upon by some evil individuals in the care system, in the daycare system. And it's real sad because I've seen conversations on the dark web on these forums of these twisted, horrible people bragging about the content they've just made. Where you've got non-verbal little kids having their skin twisted and stuff done to the soles of their feet. And they're bragging about it. Talking about how stupid the parents must be. I've seen conversations with doctors. And listen. If Ron's telling you a story, this isn't some fake dark web forum. This isn't some diary of a serial killer nonsense. Okay? When Ron talks about this stuff, I want you to remember that scene in Home Alone where the little guy, little Macaulay Culkin, runs up to his mum and says he's not allowed to watch the movie. His uncle said it was too grown up for him. And the mother says, if your uncle says it's bad, it must be real bad. Okay? So trust me, there's all the fake stuff too. But there's two websites, right? There's two forums, that I've been on that are the real deal. Like serial killers, like genuine monster. And I don't mean where your brain goes to. I don't mean pedophile and it ends there. I mean these individuals. There's doctors at clinics where women go to get rid of unwanted things, you know? And there's bits of them for sale, right? You've got people on another, there's a community. The last two letters of its names are BB. And this is the real deal, man. Like, this was the real deal. Individuals on there discussing why you never use duct tape. You always use cable ties because DNA sticks to the tape. There was a whole instruction manual on if you were looking to abduct a child that was local to you, i.e. it was, within a 5-block radius of your house, or if you were looking to abduct a child out of town. There was long, drawn-out conversations about blood flow control, where you can cut someone lots and have the minimal amount of mess. This one place, guys, this is not a funny haha. These are dangerous people. And this community was the only one that would take itself down. You would never take this community down. They would just take themselves down, disappear, and restart on a new onion, which is a domain name, an onion, on the dark web. 1 second, please. Now, when you've witnessed a forum for PDF files where you have the child lover PDFs. Oh, no, wait. I don't need to tell you about the hurt core now. Oh, God. Right. Now we're getting to the really messed up part. So, oh, yeah, thank you very much, Lisa. So, Ron done his research, he'd done his first documentary. His first documentary was actually about sextortion, because that's what brought Ron to the dark web, was all of these stories of 14-year-old and 15-year-old girls and boys having their webcams hacked or their mobile phones hacked and then being blackmailed to make adult material because someone has got effectively your nudes, right? And the amount of self-unalivings that young teens were doing, I was like, no, this can't be true. And then on my journey to find out about the realities of that, I was like, kind of a lot of child abuse going on here. Like, what? So that's what I shifted my attention to. Now, when I started out on YouTube and I started out making that documentary, I was using a computer that only had one side on a case, and in order to get it to start, you had to rub two wires together. And luckily, I still have that PC, and the hard drive still work. And I think I found that old Sextortion documentary, and it went from the Sextortion to Hope Dies Here, which is all about the child abuse. It's not so much just about child abuse. It's about dark web, PDF file sites, communities, the realities, and the different subgenres that I'd come across at this point, which was the child lover PDF file, the vigilant PDF file, which means the people that go, I'm a PDF file, but I'd never touch a kid. So they are, now listen, this is one of those debates, right? If you've got a PDF file who knows he's a PDF file, and then he goes to the doctors and says, I'm a PDF file, but I don't actually commit any crimes. I don't look at any abuse material. I'm ashamed of myself. Help me. Best outcome? Is that? There's no good outcome. But any outcome where a PDF file story ends and concludes with no traumatization and no child abuse. So, I covered all of that. There's a guy on YouTube who was the first vigilant PDF file. And he's obsessed with the fantasy of a world where children are the adults and dominate the adults. Do you see how mad this all sounds? Do you see? Also, big homie community people who are watching this back, we haven't even got started on the cabal, the witchcraft, the satanic ritual stuff. This is all what I like to call peasant level, which is the same level we exist on. Anything we can see is peasant level, from the homeless guy right the way up to the Diddies, the presidents, anything we can see, peasant level. Beyond that are the bloodlines, the cabal, and the secret that actually run the world. So, wormwood scrubs, yeah. Well, that I would take that too. You know what I'm saying? If the option to them is, I don't listen. In fact, you know what? The debate isn't that. We're just talking about the documentary. So I then go on to showcase vigilantism and all this stuff, and then I discovered a subcategory of PDF file. Okay. At this point, old joyful Ronald, he's been exposed to, the child lover, the family PDF file. And then I go on a 1.5 year mission. Maybe not a 1.5 year, maybe like a year. And I go into the darkest realm I've ever gone. And I do it in a way. Ron's a bit weird, right? So if you're trying to hunt a predator or learn about a predator, do you think the zoo is a good place to study that predator? No. So you've got to study them in the wild, right? And there's no way that I'm being like, hey, I'm a journalist. I'm looking to buddy up with a PDF file and learn how you do all your tactics. But what I can do is say, hey, I'm a journalist. I'm looking to discuss with you monsters your tactics and hear your side of things on an encrypted network where nobody can find anybody else. These guys get real chatty, and I learn every single thing that I use to hunt these people from these people, because they get real talky, man. They get real talky. And when I moved into the realm of the hardcore PDF file, we're now in a realm where all these people want is the exhilarating bliss of destruction of innocence, love, safety, bones, flesh, teeth. These are the individuals that leave on a boat in Amsterdam, go out into international waters with a couple of children and film everything on VHS and take Polaroid images so that there's no digital footprint, those children end up being R-worded to death in a way that prolongs and agonizes. Their bones are smashed to pieces, everything. And then they become lobster food at the bottom of the ocean. And there's a case that they made a documentary about. I can't remember the name of it. I'll post it in the community. That tells the story of a man who goes to Amsterdam and witnesses this. And the man at the center of it is a very prolific international PDF monster who he's a fixer. Okay. So you turn up in a country, he's got the connection to the traffickers. You know, you can trust him. He'll hook you up with some kids. Okay. Exactly the same way. Make it work in your own limitations of criminality. Make it work. So if you're somebody that smokes a bit of shimsham and you go on holiday and you go and find a guy to buy some shimsham, you know how all that's set up and structured. Same thing. Okay. And I remember talking to this woman, right? In fact, I remember talking to this guy who told me about this woman who I told, get her to come and talk to me. And I remember having a discussion with the two of them. And this is one of the most fascinating PDFs that there is, which is how do I describe this? They kind of just end up viewing PDF content because of the destruction of innocence. It's not necessarily about them going out and getting their hands on children. It's about, they've started off with normal adult content. It progresses to the most extreme BDSM. Then it develops into, like, you know, the donkey shows. Then it develops into really illegal R-word stuff. And before you know it, you have met a woman on the dark web who feels the same way as you, and once a month you meet in a motel in America to watch children being tortured. Take some chemicals together and bang. Now, it's interesting because of the journey to that point. I know a lot of you are like, who cares about the journey, Ron? Who cares about the journey? It's one thing if you're teens and become sexually aware and go, oh, like kids. It's quite another to go on a journey of adult material and find yourself drawn to the most despicable acts that humans can do. It's mad. Because then you have to argue, if there was no internet, would that dynamic of PDF exist? Don't know. I don't know. Maybe. So I done the hardcore documentary, and then I had a tiny little breakdown. Tiny smidgen of a breakdown. Oh no, wait, there was another one. So then Morgs, one of our wonderful community members, just rocks up one day and is like, so have you heard about Hard Crush? And I'm like, nah. Well, I always knew what Crush was. It's like anything from standing on food, It's usually ladies with beautiful feet or high heels standing on fruit or food or something like that. Okay. And you think to yourself, oh, it stems from like a foot fetish. Okay. If you want to stand on strawberries to please your man, go ahead, my guy. Go ahead. You get on those Jimmy Choos, okay, and you do your thing. Then you look at the legalities and laws concerning some animals and insects. So crustaceans and insects have no rights. Okay? There is no rights. So if you make a video of yourself in those high heels, smashing a bunch of crabs with your feet, crunching them to death, all of that, no problem. Cockroaches, insects, all of that kind of stuff, no problemo. But then you start seeing videos of women standing on rabbits with high heels on and crushing their little heads. And then it becomes puppies, then it becomes cats. And you're like, all right, this is a bit mad. And then Morgs rocks up and she's like, so I found this community on Facebook that are basically lying children on the floor and toddlers on the floor and laying planks across them and sitting and standing on them, crushing their little bones. And I'm like, okay, it's time to go to work. So that was the next documentary, which was Hard Crush. And yeah, I mean, that you're talking, when people talk to me about Red Rooms, I forgot about the Red Rooms documentary. I'll segue back to that. So when we talk about the dark web, the myths, all the horrors, modern social media, Telegram, WhatsApp, Facebook, that's where the horrors are. You might end up in that group on Facebook or that private call on WhatsApp from the dark web. But this is where things are taking place. Do you know how much money, right, there is in a Telegram group in the criminal world? Just from a substance selling point of view, let alone an illegal content point of view. Do you know what, Natalie? To me, I've never seen any evidence of it, but to me, it's almost like an algorithmic piece of code in my head that could help me sleep at night, thinking some of these people were made in a lab, and this isn't just a career path for some people. 90% of it stems from other people. 90% of it stems from trauma. Maybe not 90% of it, but a lot of it does. I'll tell you something else. I spoke to a father, right, who done absolutely horrendous things to his little girl, all because his wife chose to leave him. And this was, again, in a hardcore community. And we're talking about a community where, imagine you're in our community in Discord. And in order to get a different colored name on Discord, you've got to go and abuse your child and write another mod's name on them and give that over as an offering to the community to have a different colored name. So Ron has spent a long time hunting and infiltrating and understanding and punishing and destroying the lives of these and I ain't lost a wink of sleep over it yet. Now, I have been working with a lady who sadly passed away, Dana Foley. She was trafficked from the age of 5 right up until until she was 15, where she got the courage to report her mother for the abuse and the transportation that she had to suffer at the hands of her mother and several of her mother's friends. Her mother was sent to prison, and so was 3 of the other individuals who took part in this. But sadly, Dana's mother betrayed her and protected the main ringleader of this abuse. Now, I spent the last 4 years working with Dana, recording her footage, her testimonies, her stories, the truth. Okay? And wouldn't you know it, the man, the ringleader, the alleged ringleader in all of this, his very own son, has been charged with 2 counts of R-word with a crowbar. With a crowbar. And this is a new report. Our survivor opens up with a savage attack by friend's boyfriend changed her. Emily Pebbles, 28, was R-ed while sleeping by Kyle Kernican at a property in Edinburgh in 2017. Here she is. R-word survivor has spoken out about how the terrifying ordeal almost destroyed her life as she encourages other victims to come forward. The 28-year-old Emily Peebles. Emily Peebles, I want to talk to you. You need to come on the show. Okay, was attacked by Kyle Kernigan in the property on January 21, 2017. Emily is now sharing her story following the Kernigan's conviction in court last week. She told how the savage attack completely changed her, causing her to isolate herself from her family, friends, and nearly costing her her job. Speaking to Edinburgh Live, Emily said, prior to the night it happened, I was very social. I was out with my friends about 5 nights a week, partying and meeting people. My G. It was never a scary thing to me, but since that happened, I very rarely go out, I very rarely socialize, and I lost quite a lot of my friends that I had at the time because I just lost contact. It caused a lot of frustration with my family because they didn't know what was going on. Simple things always get me quite aggravated and annoyed. There was a hell of a lot more arguments with my mum. Emily, who suffers from stress-like chronic condition, endometriosis, said the illness combined with the trauma of the attack made her life a misery. She said, I was off quite a lot, nearly lost my job, probably 3 times since then. I've been coping both with mental health, also having the impact of chronic illness, having flaring up due to the stress and anxiety. Now, Emily hopes her story can empower other R victims and survivors to report incidents to police, recalling how she was initially quite ashamed to come forward after realizing, before realizing after several years, it was a serious crime and not her fault whatsoever. On April 16th, Kernigan was found guilty in the High Court of R-ing Emily in an address in Granton View while she was intoxicated, asleep, and incapable of giving or withholding consent. In January 2017, Kyle invited Emily, then aged 20, over to play drinking games with him and some friends. She said she knew him through mutual friends because her best friend had been dating Kernigan for several months. Emily enjoyed the nights out. At the same time, insisted she always had her wits about her, but found herself feeling ill and passed out after a few hours of drinking with Kernigan, who kept making her drinks in a specific bottle. She recalled she went to pick up another bottle. They would divert me to the one that I was supposed to be drinking from, and says, that's your bottle over there. At some point, I felt really unwell and wanted to lay down. Vague. I came around. Came around, he was on top of me. I passed out again, and then I woke up and my tights were pulled down the top of my knees, and my skirt was fully up around my chest. I felt so disorientated. I wasn't aware of what was going on, but I knew exactly what had happened. Kernigan was also convicted of assaulting a second victim with his ex-partner, Emily's childhood friend, with a crowbar or similar implement in a property in Marine Drive in Silverknowes Beach area of the city. Speaking now about the survivor, Emily said Kernigan had driven a wedge between them after this attack. She said that Kyle ruined parts of her life that she'll never get back. He painted this picture and the relationship was normal when the reality was far from it. His character and attitude have changed like a switch. Emily continued to spin a web of lies to make sure they never spoke again and avoid us talking again. He spun a web of lies to make sure we never spoke again, to avoid us talking again, to piece together the revolting behavior that was going on. We had no contact after I was assaulted. Since the verdict, we have reconnected. It'll be a long process to get the friendship back to what it was. Kyle preyed on my friend's vulnerability, kindness, and shattered the upbringing and lured her into a world of depravity. During the relationship, he was controlling and very possessive, and points out that she became a shell of herself. Emily wants to encourage other women in similar stories to come forward. Said it doesn't matter how long ago the incident happened, you can still get justice. Even if we hadn't, we still would have regret going. Even if we hadn't, we still wouldn't have regretted going to trial and telling our story. Speaking of, she initially felt too ashamed to come forward. She said she knew that something had happened, but she blamed herself. It's just nuts, man. I thought I was the one that put myself into the situation. I was really stupid, and I should have known better. I thought, for one, I wasn't going to get believed. For two, if I didn't get believed, everybody was going to say, "Well, do you know you were stupid for going there in the first place?" But when she eventually went to the police, Emily said she had a very positive experience. She said that once she gave a statement to the police, it was validation in itself, and the way that they spoke to me and made me come to realize there wasn't anything to be ashamed of, and it wasn't actually my fault. I realized that I was a victim of a serious crime, a space in a couple of hours, and I completely changed my outlook on it. Emily testified in court remotely, and she's never had to see Kernigan during the trial, to the trial in person. What an amazing lady. Okay, what an amazing lady. So this individual is the son of the man that escaped justice in the original case when Dana was trying to put everyone away for what they did to her. And Dana's story, the abuse, the severity, men, women, animals, it was horrible. And this is a massive, massive step forward to getting justice for her. And there's more cases. There's more court cases on this whole saga with Dana Foley that are coming up. And I know for a fact, as soon as that man is in jail, more people are going to come forward. The severity and the fear around these individuals is unreal. Now, we've got about another 10 minutes, and I want everyone who's watching this, if you're watching it back, if you're new, if you've never seen me before, come and join the community. I'm going to come and hang out with you all there at the end of the show. I'm absolutely exhausted, so we're definitely going to have a fireball or two. And there's a lot to come from the community and the movement. The movement that I'm referring to doesn't have a name. It has a symbol. And that symbol is right here. If you click join the movement and you scroll down, you will get all kinds of symbols that you can download. You just click on them and download. There's the PNGs. There is flags, all this kind of stuff. You can download the direct editable Photoshop file. And you can upload images that you have made, and I'll post them. So in the next week or so, the server will be fully relaunched. There will be community managers, if you will, who are going to be putting on events, who are going to be just keeping the server alive. And I would like to just say to everyone who is part of the community, who is going to be a future part of the community, it's a fun place to be. It's a great community, but we're not here to take any crap off anyone. You will respect the mods, and you will integrate if you want to be part. There's no, you got to understand this. Ron runs this thing pretty open. He lets the mods do their thing, but when Ron gets brought in to solve a problem, it's basically, I deal with things like I'm running China. You know what I'm saying? So it's how it goes. The people there who have integrated well, and the people there who understand the ethos of it all and understand that Ron doesn't give a rat's ass if you think that you're going to talk crap to my mods or be weird with the female members of the community in their DMs or any of that. You've come to the wrong place. Did you hear everything I just said? Dark web, cartels. I don't care. Yeah, don't come and try and pee in my cornflakes. It's a very dangerous bowl of cornflakes. So my mods, I have the backs of my mods all the way. Okay. So don't come to me thinking that because you're part of the community, if something's happened, I'm on your side. No. Okay. Don't get me wrong. If the mods turn out like if it's like a psychopath situation, I'm on your side. Okay. But you have to understand, things are so good on our private server. Our non-public server is very different to the public server. Yes, you can. KOG. Sorry. Yeah, I've not got the page open yet. I will get it done. But there's a lot to come. And there's a lot of shows that me and Big Homie are talking about developing for over here. I just need to see how numbers work out, how his existing community reacts to stuff and all the rest. But independent content that you guys have been asking for is going to be rolling out this week. I didn't have a chance to save the Nico footage because it's 52 gigs. Lovely. So I need to like leave it rendering out overnight. So yeah. But look, what I'm going to do now is we're going to call it a night here. I will see you all on the Discord server in about 15 minutes. Get into VC and we'll decide what it is we're doing. It's Mrs. Mac's birthday, so no excuses. And I just want to say, if you're watching this back, make sure you like and subscribe. Thank you for coming and joining us on the Off the Grid Network. Big Homie, I hope you're okay. I apologize that our guest, John Wedger, went AWOL. I will change up the thumbnail and all of that. It might not be tonight, but I will do it. And I do apologize, and we will rebook, and I will see you all in the next one. And then I'll see you on Discord. It's very hot in here. Very hot.